It's really sad to see that there's people who are hindering the development and the progress that this country could find if we just unite together and utilize diversity as our instrumental key.
Absolutely, yeah. We wanted to let them know if they try to do this stuff and try to frame it in a white supremacist dog whistly way, we will show up and not allow them to do that. We see through it. Anti-fascist action.
Some liberals want to just pretend like they're not there, don't give them attention, they'll go away, and that strategy doesn't work.
Raise them Nazis, all that shit. You can't make them feel comfortable here, you gotta make them feel uncomfortable as possible. That's what we're here for.
What's the best way to make a Nazi uncomfortable?
Come up.
Hit the far right with the feminist left.
I mean, I'm not against punching Nazis in the face. If you have hate in your heart, you deserve everything that comes to you.
Huntington Beach is full of racists. It's always been full of racists, and they're coming a little bit more mask off these days. So.
We can't have neo-Nazis, we can't have white supremacists, and we can't have Trump supporters coming out here and thinking that they represent America. I'm just here to show my support and solidarity for the Black Lives Matter movement.
You're like a drip, 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 it'll never stop. Oh, press your little tip, 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 till you just go pop. Sister, it doesn't hurt, and see if she can handle every family burden. Watch as she buckles and bends but never breaks. No mistakes.
So it turns out that a lot of people don't know this, but the pandemic is not over. Just because the government decided that immunocompromised and disabled people are disposable does not mean that we forfeit our commitment to community care. Please wear your fucking mask inside, oh my god.
I think many Americans are familiar with gangs like the Bloods and the Crips. However, would you believe me if I told you that there are gangs who get away with the majority of the murders they commit? Who frame hundreds, if not thousands of people every year for crimes they didn't commit? Who participate in drug and human trafficking? Who have executing innocent people as part of their initiation rituals? I'm of course talking about police gangs. The most well-documented cases of these porky platoons is in Los Angeles. Two of the most prolific of these gangs are the Banditos, whose initiation requirements involve either executing a civilian or planting evidence. This is the symbol of the executioners of Compton, who make it a point that you have to execute a black person in order to join their gang. Cerise Castle is a journalist who recently brought attention to these gangs, and has since faced so much harassment, gotten so many death threats, and been so persistently stalked that she had to, for a time, hire a private security detail. And the story is all but the same for John Sweeney, an attorney who has spent his entire career uncovering these gangs and dragging them out into the light. So at this point, I don't know what to say to you if you don't agree that policing in America needs a full, ground-up restructuring.
In today's news, yet another story begging the question, why are we still doing capitalism? Leaked emails from one of Applebee's executives states that Applebee's is happy that gas prices are going up because it means that they can pay workers lower wages. What? Basically, the main tenet of this email is that Applebee's willingly admits that most of their employee workforce lives paycheck to paycheck, and that rising gas prices and higher inflation will mean that people, specifically Applebee's employees, will have less disposable income, therefore making them more prone to picking up more hours or even working for less wages if it means they get their hours. The executive goes on to state that this inflation is really good for Applebee's because small mom-and-pop shops will be put out of business and not be able to compete with larger competitors. Applebee's CEO made $2 million last year, by the way.
I am trying so hard to be better, but to my core, I am a hater.
The normalization of COVID-19 is reminding me a lot of the eugenics movement. Our narrative towards COVID-19 has shifted to everyone's gonna get it and that's okay because people are vaccinated and they're not gonna get that sick. I mean, the CDC director literally said it's encouraging that disabled people are the ones who are dying. And now schools are lifting mask mandates with no remote options. Life is going back to normal. And people have just accepted disabled people dying as normal. as a necessary sacrifice. It really shows how little disabled life is valued. This deep okayness with disabled death was the catalyst for the eugenics movement. Wearing a mask isn't going to kill you, but not wearing one might kill someone else. Remember, if people don't care about disabled people dying, whose deaths are going to be normalized next?
Don't scroll. Pay attention. I've addressed this before, but I'm addressing it again. I'm going to green screen a video. Pay attention. I'll also put the link up because I'm not sure when the video will end right after. So don't scroll. Pay attention.
Do not report hate crimes to police. The FBI found out that the police are no longer calling attacks on black and brown people by white racists hate crimes. That is so the police can say that hate crimes went down in the country. You have to bypass the police and go directly to the FBI because they prosecute hate crimes federally and give higher sentences. But we never report crimes to the FBI. Black and brown people and the police don't. So the FBI Civil Rights Division is over here like, no one sends us hate crimes because no one knows about the FBI Civil Rights Division. The FBI is required to do a full investigation on every complaint made to them, okay? Bypass the police, who are racist as fuck, and go directly to the FBI Civil Rights Division and report it.
Okay, white tears and white woman tears are distinctly different concepts. Let's unpack. White tears are what happens when a white person is confronted with the very ugly reality of racism. And instead of sitting with that, instead of possibly taking accountability for how they could have participated in it, they weaponize their emotional response to take all of the attention away from the person who's suffering and put it back on themselves for sympathy. If you have ever called out a parent for shit they did to you as a kid and they fire back with, well, I guess I'm just a horrible parent that never did anything right. Same shit. White woman tears are a lot more about impact. It's what happens when a white woman becomes self-aware of the damsel in distress trope. And she knows that if she cries, people are going to come defend her honor. White woman tears may be upplaying something that's actually bad that's happened, like in Chelsea's case, or they can be a complete and total fabrication, as in the case with Emmett Till. White tears are about white fragility. White woman tears are about revenge.
So we've got Amanda Palmer racism compilations, we've got proof of her being ableist, and we also have proof that she not only misuses her fans' appreciation for her to try to get free work out of them after making $1 million on a Kickstarter for an album, but she also decided to announce her divorce on Patreon before telling the partner that she eventually didn't divorce, that she wanted a divorce. Let's sprinkle some anti-Semitism in there. Like this quote that she made about Donald Trump, where she excuses Nazi Germany for the sake of good art. I got this quote from the Lindsay Ellis video protest music during the Bush era. Go ahead and pause to read. Like Kim, people are dying. There are things more important than your precious inspiration for indie art. It's not a flex to not grow as a human being over the course of 30 years. You'd think someone approaching Crypt Keeper age would know how to maintain a TikTok page, but considering her reaction to this whole debacle, I'm entertained, so keep going.
If you rent a storage unit and you see anything at that storage facility that indicates someone might be living there, including a person who looks like they might be living there, no, you didn't.
Hey, Tulsa police. This you? This you? This you? This you? This you?
Crazy.
There's literally not a single reason why unpaid internships should be legal. They literally just exist to get
Unpaid internship, for the most part, is legalized slave work. Now, I understand if you're a small company and you don't have that much money, and in the future you're gonna, get a person credit or future pay. That's understandable. But if you're a big corporation and your only thing you have to offer a person is clout and experience, yet they're going to do above and beyond work and you can't pay them minimum wage? Make it make sense. That's all I got to say.
What's wrong with non-natives using dream catchers? It's a valid question, so we're going to answer it. When it comes to dream catchers, which if you're not familiar with them, they look like this, and they originated with the Anishinaabe, aka Ojibwe people. And there's a whole story associated with them. It involves a spider woman, and dream catchers are supposed to protect the youngest members of a tribe. So usually they're given to children by like a female family member. And they're used in a religious way to protect and filter out when you're dreaming, like anything negative coming from the spirit world. Very abridged version there. So what's wrong with it is when people, instead of using dream catchers in the way that they're supposed to be used or buying from actual indigenous artists, people buy dream catchers like this and they just think of it as a decor item, and they don't think about how this actually desensitizes them to our culture and how it takes an important religious item and just makes a mockery of it. So that's what's wrong with it.